I'm Daphne here with US Classic Muscle Cars. We are here at the Rosemont World of Wheels Convention, and today I'm here with
Steve Frisbie from Portland, Oregon.
Awesome. So Steve, I heard that you were pretty much the engineer behind the customization of this car.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm kind of the babysitter behind the whole crew that works on that car, and basically this car did not start out as a car. It started out as a designer's drawing, a rendering.
Oh wow!
And then all of the body panels were made from flat sheets of aluminum. All of the body panels are aluminum instead of steel.
Wow!
So the body was made, the frame was made out of steel, and then components were fit and sized so that they fit together, and there's gaps are right. But so there's a lot of work. I don't know if you know what a buck is, but we make a wood buck or a foam buck, which is in the shape of the fender or the hood.
Wow.
And we make the components to fit on that buck, and then all the pieces, we make them in pieces, and the pieces are welded together, and then the welds are ground smooth. So that's the way you make all these body parts. And then of course some components are the inners and outers of the doors are made, and then they're welded together. So once you've got a body structure all put together, then within the design, you've got a design of a windshield or a chrome strip or a grille. So what we do there is we make patterns, and we'll make patterns sometimes out of wood or sometimes out of fiberglass.
Okay.
And then you send this pattern to a foundry, and they pour brass, silicon bronze, and make the parts out of brass. And the reason we use brass is because brass is easy to weld and solder, but also chrome sticks to brass better than any other base metal. So you've got a really superior bond between your plating and between your base metal. So, like the windshield frame was cast. The grill surround, which is called the grill shell, is cast on the front of the car. And then, let me see what else was cast. The side trim there by the hood sides, that was cast. And then, that's about all of the cast pieces on the car. Now, the headlights are all handmade. There is no other car that has headlight that.
Wow.
So the bucket is made in two pieces out of steel, and that's welded together. And then inside the bucket, there's what's called a reflector, and it's curved.
Oh, okay.
And we silver plate that because silver reflects light at a 92% level over chrome or any other silver type finish.
Right.
So we've got projector beams in the silver reflectors, and then the bezel, we call that the outside edge around the glass is called a bezel, and that was patterned and cast in bronze and then chrome plated.
Wow.
And then we had, for lenses, you see how the grill is curved?
Yes.
Okay, well there's 33 Chrysler has headlight lenses. They're big round ones, but they're curved.
Okay.
So what we did is we traced the pattern that we need to cut the lens, and we cut the lens underwater with a little Dremel tool so that the glass wouldn't break, and then that fits into the bezel like a sandwich.
Nice.
And then for parking lights, we've got a 12-volt neon tube that's the shape of the bezel.
Oh, okay.
And that fits behind the bezel, so when you turn your parking lights on, it just glows. It's a separate light.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. So this is like your own. Well, this is just a creation in itself.
Yeah.
There's nothing out here like this.
It never started as a car.
Right.
Yeah,
so it's truly one of a kind.
Yeah. And the reason we call it a 33 Ford is because it has styling cues. In other words, the grill is like a 33 Ford. The fender shapes are like a 33 Ford. So, you know, you have to identify with the vehicle while you're designing it, whether you want it to look like an abstract Ford or a Chevrolet or any other kind of car.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. So one of the first things I noticed was the color.
Yeah.
Yeah, the paint is just beautiful. So tell me a little bit about the contrast of the different reds. Like you have a bright red on the body, and then you have the darker red along the outside.
Yeah, the main red is a candy red. In other words, you start out with a base coat, and then you put over it like nail polish that you can see through. It's translucent, so that gives you depth, and the light goes into the translucent red, and then it bounces the gold base underneath and bounces back, and that's how you get your color. Now on the black, we started out with straight black, and then we used crushed glass, small crushed glass prisms that have a little bit of red in them. So that's how the black kind of projects a red hue.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because I thought it was like a maroon color. But so that was originally black, and then with the
red prisms.
The red prisms. Yeah. Okay, so it makes that color. It's beautiful. Very nice. So, can you tell us a little bit about the interior?
Oh, sure. The interior, the steering wheel and the steering column are two pieces, and the steering wheel turns all the way down, about halfway down the column. That steering wheel and the column, lower column mounts to the dash, were made out of a block of aluminum.
Wow.
So we drew patterns. My in-house designer, David Gross, did patterns for the steering wheel, and we had them CNC program made, and then they were cut out of a block aluminum.
Wow.
And then they were chrome plated. We've got a lot of pieces that we made out of aluminum, but we chose to chrome plate the aluminum because there's a high maintenance schedule with just raw aluminum. And with chrome, you don't have to go back and polish it all the time.
Okay.
Aluminum will have a tendency to fade, you know.
Right. You're so knowledgeable about all this. It's great. So can you tell us about the wheels?
The wheels, okay. The wheels are one only, and they were designed on the computer.
Wow.
And they're what you call directional. You see the little fins there? If that wheel is turning, it's cupping air inside to the brakes to keep the brakes cool. So the fins are pointed one way on this side, and then they're pointed forward, and then on the other side they're pointed forward. So if you put those wheels on this side, the fins would be pointing backwards.
Oh, nice.
Now underneath the car, so those were machined out of aluminum and then chrome plated.
Okay.
Now on the inside, we've got what's called a backing plate, and that backing plate holds the brake caliper.
Oh, okay.
So that's your disc brakes.
Right.
And that we've designed the backing plate so that it matches the configuration on the front of the wheel. So you look at the back of the wheel and it looks the same as the front of the wheel.
Wow.
Which is kind of crazy, but that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about the engine?
Yeah, okay. We wanted to stay, since we have all the body panels in aluminum, we wanted to stay with the theme of aluminum on the car. And a lot of the wheels and a lot of the other components, all of the suspension components and stuff are made out of aluminum too.
Okay.
So we chose to go with an aluminum 427 engine, which is actually a Chevrolet engine.
Oh, okay.
So the engine is aluminum,
okay.
And then the transmission that houses the transmission, that's aluminum, and the rear end is aluminum. So the only steel on the car is the frame, and so all of that other running gear is aluminum too.
Wow, that's really cool. So I see the mirrors. Can you tell us a little bit about the undercarriage?
Yeah, on the bottom of the engine and transmission, we did not use the engine pans that contain the fluid.
Okay.
that they came with on the factory. We made custom ones out of blocks of aluminum again, and we wanted it to be smooth all the way from the back of the transmission all the way up to the front of the engine. And then we've got a cover on the front of the engine that's aluminum, and the water pump and the alternator fit inside that. So when you look at the front of the motor, usually you see pulleys and belts and things.
Right.
Well, there aren't any there because they're all hidden under that aluminum cover.
Okay. Okay.
So all of the exhaust is stainless steel, polished, welded together. And like I said before, the A-arms, the suspension arms, are made out of aluminum. Now, the front axle is what they call is a tube axle. And they're usually one piece with springs and shock absorbers all kind of sticking out there.
Oh, okay.
So what we did is we cut that axle in half in the middle, and we made a pivot in the middle. And we have little rocker arms running through the frame, so you don't see any springs or coil springs or shocks when you look at the car from the front. Those springs are down underneath, like if you're in the car, they'd be underneath your feet.
Oh,
so
okay.
they're hidden, so they're way up there. And in the back, we did a similar configuration to where the coil springs are way up underneath the floor of the trunk. So you look at the back, there's no springs either. Oh, okay. So that's just part of pushing the design envelope and trying to do something a little different. You know,
Definitely.
It's hard to do things different. I mean, you look around here, and all these guys, they're all thinking of things to do different.
Exactly.
So,
there's something unique about almost every car in here, so I can totally understand. But this, to me, by far, is definitely like the most unique, especially since it's a creation that was built from scratch, pretty much.
yeah, definitely from scratch.
Yeah. So, and tell us about the top, because I noticed the top is over here.
Yeah, this is a hard top, which we made out of aluminum again.
Oh,
and that
okay.
bolts onto the car and can be taken off by 4 people, you know. And then all of the trim has either been made by brass or steel and then chrome plated and fit to the top. So it's painted the same color the fenders and the running boards are painted.
Right, very nice. And altogether, how long did it take to build this, pretty much?
Well, it took 3.5 years, and there's probably, there's over 20,000 man hours in it.
Wow.
So I haven't added it up.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Right. Wow, this is simply amazing. It's really amazing. So what's the name of the company that you work for that did this?
Well, the name of my company is Steve's Auto Restorations, and we're in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
And we came all the way out here just to do this show and another show.
Wow. So tell us about, I know this car definitely has won some awards.
Prior to today, or this weekend, it's only been shown once.
Oh, okay.
And that was back in Detroit. And their top award, which is very, very prestigious and can only go to a car that is first time shown.
Wow, okay.
Well, we were quite fortunate. They started out with 61 cars that were being shown for the first time.
Wow.
And we climbed the mountain until we were the only one left.
Oh,
so we really
awesome.
feel fortunate.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you guys definitely deserve it, for sure.
Thank you.
Wow, beautiful car. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for letting us do the interview with you and, giving us the time, because this is actually amazing, and you definitely know so much. You're so knowledgeable about all of this. So.
I better know, I'm the boss.
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much, and make sure you check out the video on the YouTube channel, US Classic Muscle Cars.
Okay.
Okay? Thanks
you.
so much. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.